Peace on the heart, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the channel. Today, we will be taking a deep dive into the American Eagle commercial ad featuring actress Sydney Sweeney and the Nazi propaganda featured in its undertone message. For those who are unaware, earlier this week, American Eagle released a commercial ad featuring actress Sydney Sweeney promoting a pair of jeans for their customers around the country. But they decided to slip a subtextual message about white supremacy within their ad.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has great genes.
So there you have it. You got American Eagle promoting white eugenics and racial superiority through a clothing line. And this has sparked a lot of outrage in the media and social media as well. You got people on two sides. You got people on one side that's seeing it for what it is. It's basically promoting white superiority and white eugenics and Nazi propaganda. And you got people that just sees it as a harmless ad and, you know, a beautiful actress, a beautiful white actress, just promoting, you know, a clothing line. And you got people that are basically going back and forth about this.
If you need help understanding the controversy behind the American Eagle and Sydney Sweeney collaboration, I got you. In order to understand what makes it controversial, we need to understand what makes Sydney Sweeney's jeans so great. Is it that they're blue? Or is it that these American popularized style of pants are being worn by a white woman with blonde hair, blue eyes, as she is being considered a sex symbol and sexualized all throughout the commercials? Very subtly, the homophone of jean and jean, the advertisement phrasing and spokesperson placement hint to a practice, a scientific movement started by Sir Francis Galton called eugenics. Eugenics was not just practiced by 1930s Germany, but it was also a U.S. standard from 1907 to 1979, in which we wanted ideal candidates to have babies opposed to those that were considered unfit for reproduction, such as immigrants, people of color, and people with disabilities. But please keep in mind the current political landscape of the United States, where the presidential administration is trying to return back to a time where America wasn't diverse, and that those that are reproducing are what eugenics would consider fit for reproduction to improve society. And unfortunately, Sydney Sweeney's type fit the bill. You don't have to go as far back as 1930s Germany to see how eugenics plays a role in its advertisement. You really just need to be aware of how this is in America's genes too.
Well, Sydney Sweeney is facing woke backlash as the face of American Eagle jeans. The superstar actress announced her latest partnership with the brand, launching a new campaign highlighting her, quote, great jeans. Take a look.
Sydney Sweeney has very jeans.
But some on the left wasted no time attacking the advertisement and its tagline, saying that it's not about a pair of pants. It's actually racist. Salon Magazine writes, quote, the phrase, used in bold on billboards in Times Square in Las Vegas, was designed as a denim pun. But online, many saw something else. Great jeans, G-E-N-E-S, a phrase historically used to celebrate whiteness, thinness, and attractiveness. Others described the slogan as too close to master race propaganda and said it echoed eugenics-era language used to validate and promote the superiority of white beauty. Harris, I come to you first. You have young daughters, and we love fashion together. Are these criticisms valid? Will it have an impact?
I can tell you that in my household, we wouldn't even think of that. I have biracial children. I live with a white Jewish man. I mean, what I thought that meant was, well, she was wearing some great jeans. I guess I'm really naive. I lived this long to be naive. But I also don't see everything through the prism of race. And I think you can find whatever it is you think you're looking for. And that's what I feel when I read about this. it's like, well, they wanted to see it this way, so they did. I'm more concerned about whether or not, there are enough women in ads, just like I was about women in sports. There's certain things that really do occur to me immediately in advertising. That really didn't.
And the counter often are saying, Lisa, is that, well, she's actually not that thin, the historically thin that's been unhealthy. She's curvy and natural. She's a biological woman. So finally, we're celebrating that. And that it has nothing to do with what it might imply to some people.
Yeah, I mean, Sydney Sweeney's success in this ad campaign has nothing to do with race. It has to do about returning to traditional standards of beauty. And I guarantee the same people who find Sydney Sweeney attractive also think Halle Berry is hot and attractive, also think Jessica Alba is as well. This is about rejecting the Orwellian way of life that was shoved down our throats for 4 years under Joe Biden. The war is peace, the freedom is slavery, the ignorance is strength. And I will add, hairy armpits is attractive, right? or attractive. So, we were told for 4 years that obesity is healthy, that Harry Styles wearing a dress on the cover of Vogue magazine, that's masculinity, that, the Doug Emhoff's daughter with hairy armpits, that's a model, that's attractive, right? So I think what is happening now is American society going back to what we traditionally see as beauty, which is just women looking like women.
Now, the other question is that, was this purposeful, Rosanna? Because a lot of times driving controversy means driving attention. And so that drives up all of the eyesight and probably profits for American Eagle.
I don't know if it was something sinister with American Eagle. I don't know who was behind this ad campaign. Maybe it was some Gen Zer who didn't know the history, right?
That's
it could just
point.
be they were having a little fun, a little pun on words. But the good part, on the brighter side, I always like to look on the bright side. The bright side is part of the money that is raised from these jeans will have a charity component. It will go to mental health and I believe a domestic abuse, center that helps women. So there is something good that comes all out of this, and we're talking about it.
Yeah.
We're talking about, not that Sydney Sweeney needs any more publicity. She's gotten our attention in more ways than one.
Mark, are we exhausted yet? Or I should rephrase it, when will we be exhausted by all of these attacks for everything? If everything is racist, isn't nothing?
I can't get over the hairy armpit stuff.
Sorry, Mark.
It was cool for a while, a couple years ago.
Just wanted to give you something to think about for the rest of the day.
And he hasn't thought about it.
All week long. Here's the thing. It's funny they bring up eugenics. Show you how little they know about eugenics. Democrat Party, Planned Parenthood, pushed eugenics for 100 years. Woodrow Wilson, the great progressive president, supported eugenics. Eugenics was pushed and practiced in this country by the Democrat Party at the beginning of the last century and instituted against people who were mentally ill, physically disabled, and black people.
That's right.
That's the history of the Democrat Party. That's what they did. I'm happy to talk about eugenics. I don't know what the hell it has to do with genes, but there you go.
I see it for what it is. This was definitely a white supremacist promotional ad. And American Eagle definitely didn't really try to hide it. They tried to hide it behind clothes and, using Sydney Sweeney as a face for this. But their message was clear. They definitely were trying to promote something that was much deeper than a clothing line. They were definitely trying to speak to a certain demographic in America, as well as the rest of the world. But this is definitely an interesting topic to discuss when it comes to media narrative and subliminal messages and racial subtext within commercial ads, television, film, video games, you name it. And there's a lot of things we can unpack with this. So let's call it what it is. American Eagle wasn't just trying to promote white power. They were also trying to promote white fertility. As we all know, the birth rates in the white community are on an extreme decline in America and in certain parts of the world. And the white supremacists are basically trying to send a message to their community in increasing their numbers and, starting more white families, having more white babies, and growing those numbers so they can maintain a dominance over those who share melanin within their veins. And the media is doing a great job at trying to promote this narrative, because we all know the future is not looking too great for those in the so-called dominant society when it comes to their birth rates, unfortunately. So American Eagle decided they had to step it up and get their message out there by any means necessary. So they used American actress Sydney Sweeney to promote their ad for this very reason. And for those who aren't aware who Sydney Sweeney is, she's most known for starring in the HBO series Euphoria as the over-sexualized, Cassie Sawyer. And speaking of Sydney Sweeney, she definitely had a helping hand in this. And this is me not taking a dig at her. I think she's a phenomenal actress. I think she's a very attractive woman. And when they reached out to her, when American Eagle wanted to use her for this ad, they basically gave her some creative control over the ad. So she knew the game. She definitely knew what it was, and she definitely knew what she was getting herself into, because a lot of people felt, well, maybe she didn't understand the ad, she didn't write the ad, she was just following the script. No, she might have not have wrote the script, but she definitely had a helping hand in the finished product. She definitely knew the message that they were trying to send, and she definitely was with it. And this is me not accusing Sydney Sweeney of being a white supremacist, but she definitely was aware of the message that American Eagle was trying to push with this campaign, with her featured in it. But this is how the mainstream media works. They'll use celebrities to promote certain images and narratives to promote their white supremacist ideology. I mean, dating back to World War II, Adolf Hitler used film as a way to promote his racial superiority complex and Nazi ideology to people around the world. And even dating back even further, Birth of a Nation, the very first motion picture, used propaganda with the Klan and trying to depict them as heroes. And this is why filmmaking to me is very important. I think it's very important that we be aware of what we consume, not just narratives put out by white people, but even narratives put out by black people. We have to be very careful in what's being fed to us in the mainstream media. We have to be very aware of what we let our kids watch. We have to be very aware of what we as adults consume as well. And this is one of the reasons why I got into filmmaking and storytelling in general, as far as narrative, because I think it's very important that we control our own narrative as foundational Black Americans. And I think it's important that Black people in general, whether it be from Africa or the Caribbean, to control their own narratives. But we definitely, here in the States, foundational Black Americans, we definitely have to control our own narrative, and definitely try to counter-strike the white power structure that tries to control our image through film and television. And this is pretty much all I have to say about this so-called commercial ad from American Eagle. I think it's very eye-opening. I think it is definitely blatant. They definitely tried to be slick in what they were trying to promote, but a lot of people caught it and for what it was. And I definitely caught it for what it was, and it definitely intrigued me, and it definitely inspired me to make this video. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. Stay safe and always be aware.